A lot of people have asked me on my videos, what do I do with the tops of the wine bottles when I cut them off? Wine bottles and beer bottles. Well, you're about to find out because I'm gonna do a project. So I have this board already cut and sanded. This is a piece of cedar planking that I have in my. So these aren't very even. The cuts are not very even, but it doesn't really affect what I'm about to do. I did seal this with Mod Podge because I'm going to be resining these on the board, and the Mod Podge is going to prevent the board from becoming dark and stained by the resin. So I'm going to start at the top where I want my top, and I'm just going to stack them up. Trying not to repeat colors next to each other. I did play around with this a little bit last night watching TV, and I had and so I did play around a little bit last night while we were watching football on TV, and I was gonna do like even rows of colors, so a row of blue, row of green, row of white, and it just I don't know, it looked kind of weird. And so I am just going to well, not really random, but pretty randomly, um, just putting the tops down. Until I'm happy with it. It's not perfect. It's just gonna be, you know, it's a cheerful tree. It's a colorful tree. So I am putting the cut side down. Okay. That one is broken. Really love the variety of colors too in the green wine bottles. There's olive, there's bright green, there's dark green, all different shades of green. It's really cool. I think I have room for one more row. I don't know if I have enough tops, but I'm gonna try. Mm, that is close, man. Look at that. That is perfect. I even have two left over, but I'm glad I started at the top because if I had started at the bottom, it never would have turned out right. Yeah, I could even curve it a little bit. I don't know. It just looks weird. When you start getting all fancy and stuff, that's when you mess up. Let's just leave it like that. I like it. I like it. I think I want that one. I don't know what I want as the trunk, but I feel like it needs to be some kind of wine bottle. I don't really have one. I have an idea. I'll be right back. Okay, I went out and cut this bottle bottom or top. Clean it really good. And that will be a perfect tree. Look at that. Now, if I wanted to get fancy, I could try cutting it in half lengthwise, but I don't want to do that. I don't. So, I could, I don't like that, but I think I like this. So, now I'm going to mix up some resin. You could probably do hot glue with this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I see one that's cracked, so I'm going to replace it. I think that resin would be definitely more durable in the long run. You could probably use E6000. So I have my Let's Resin mixer. I'm going to use the 2-part Let's Resin casting epoxy.
I mixed up 100 milliliters of resin, which I think is going to be the perfect amount for this tree. And then I cleaned my paddles immediately after using it, and
like
that
this.
has really, really helped to keep the paddles nice and clean.
Okay. And I'm just gonna mix it a little bit more with my silicone spatula that I got at the Dollar Tree. I just want to make sure all the sides are scraped and everything. I'm gonna start drizzling in between. So not necessarily, I mean, probably inside a little bit, but I'm going to concentrate in between these areas. So really, I'm not scooping the resin. I'm just going to kind of dip the spatula in, and see how I'm just drizzling it in and on and in between. I did a mirror not too long ago, and this is how I attached. I did a mirror out of the bottle bottoms, which was really cool. It's hanging up in my office, in fact. I don't sell everything. I do keep some things. Might end up putting some resin inside of each one of these. Just because I have so much left over. And it'll look really cool. So I am going from one end to the other. And that way I'm sure that I've hit every single one of these. Because the last thing I want is to pick it up and have a bunch of tops fall off. And I have put Christmas trees in my booth before that have had glass pop off, so it happens. And it's really not that big of a deal. I either take it home and do surgery, or I sell it at a discount. Not a big deal. All right, I have a lot left over, so I think I'm just gonna go back and put some inside. That'll make it look more jewel-like, I think, and secure. Bottles. Right there. Right there. So how am I gonna do that? Drizzle. You see that right here? Yeah. That'll stick. And then I'm just gonna turn that upside down, let it drip. And I got 2 areas right there. Clean that up. And then soak that. That should be it. I mean, I'm gonna get drips there, but I kind of figured I would have some little drippies on the edge, but I can get that up. Some paper towels, maybe, you know, just so it's not so drippy looking. That'll work. Star. We need a star. It's got to be glass, though. What do you? Yo. Yep. Don't say anything incriminating because I'm recording. I'm making a pretty star. This is just to break it. I use my wet saw to cut it. I was just cutting some just a minute ago. Hmm. You can go see it if you want. No, it looks like a little tiny table. Yeah, like a little tiny. My goodness, why are you? Sure thing. My goodness. It's tube glitter, confetti, and beads and shit. There. That's pretty. It's a Christmas tree. What did you call it? It's a triangle. Yes, it's a triangle. Christmas trees are triangles. The way the well then come here and do it then. Mhm. Whatever. Can't be hard. Get that hard if I do it. And it's running now. Might have to resin the whole board now.
So I did make attempts to clean up the drips, but there was just too many. So I did decide to go ahead and resin the whole board. But fortunately, I did have some left over in my cup. And then also I had a great big hole in the board. And so some of the resin did drip down onto my table. And I was able just to scoop it up with a cheap paintbrush. And I had enough resin to pretty much put a kind of a thin coat of resin on the whole board. And so it worked out really well. Mr. Magnolia walked in the studio and decided it looked like a pizza slice. A pizza slice! All right, I have to admit, it kind of does look like a pizza slice, but it's a very cute pizza slice. Now, the only thing I wish I had done was paint the board white before adding the bottle tops, because the resin just darkens the glass and it just kind of drowns the color. Kind of drowns the colors, and really no other way to describe it. But I did put it in my booth and it sold on the first day. I sold it for $50, and so that's a win-win situation. And Mr. Krabs does approve.